Hey, what's going on, everybody? Let's talk about episode 5 of House of the Dragon. I know I'm very late on this one. I've been very behind on my shows. I will get caught up on all of them, I promise. So, of course, in this episode, we're going to go to Rhaenyra's wedding. It's a big episode because weddings never go down right in Game of Thrones. Remember the Red Wedding? I'm sure you do. It's insane. It's one of the greatest episodes of television history and one of the most reacted to episodes of television history. This really is a show, though. It just keeps ramping up week after week, and I'm loving that about it. I'm really enjoying this show. And right from the get-go, Daemon murders his wife by smashing a rock into her head. And I was just like, yep, that's another Tuesday for Daemon. Very on brand. I loved it. I mean, I hated it, but I loved it at the same time. The guy just keeps doing crazy, ridiculous shit, and it's insane, man. I think he's a madman, and he's one of the reasons you keep watching this show, to keep watching him do this insane, ridiculous stuff. I just think Matt Smith is so stellar in the role, and just it never gets old, man. I love the conversation between Alicent and her father, played by Rhys Ifans. I like that he was back in this episode, first of all, and secondly, that conversation was insane. He's just like, look, I'm a pawn in the Game of Thrones. Rhaenyra is playing the Game of Thrones. I can't just come back right now. She took me off the board. That was her move. And he tells Alicent that if she's not careful, Rhaenyra's going to take her off the board too. So she better learn to beg for mercy or get good at the Game of Thrones. It's crazy how the tides kind of turn between Alicent and Rhaenyra here. I think when the show first started, we really thought we were going to be following Rhaenyra and rooting for Rhaenyra, but at this point, I'm literally Team Alicent, man. It's crazy how much the tides have turned and how much character development's already gone on in these first 5 episodes, and I think that's part of what's making the show great to watch week after week, right? It just constantly changes. And Sir Christian, I think it's Christian anyway, correct me if I'm wrong, is so guilty about sleeping with Rhaenyra before her wedding, right? And Rhaenyra is pretty much lost the privilege now by her father to choose who she wants to marry, right? Her father's like, you go marry Sir, what's his name, Elasian or something like that. Go marry him because you've lost your privileges after acting the way you did. And on one end, I can't blame Viserys, man. I mean, Viserys did give her the option. That was big of him, especially knowing his mindset. That was big of him to give her the option, and she did take that and kind of ruin it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think all women should choose who they need to marry. I'm just saying, when you think about it from the king's perspective and his mindset and probably the way that he was brought up, for him to give Rhaenyra the chance to choose was a big deal, and she did kind of abuse that. So I get that from that parent perspective. But Viserys, I really felt for, man. I tell you, he was not feeling well in this episode. He was very under the weather, right? And I'm pretty sure he's dead now. I haven't seen episode 6 obviously yet, but I'm gonna get to that. And Daemon came in, right? I mean, and pretty much disrupted their medieval cha-cha slide.
I was never much of a dancer.
Funky, funky.
Trying to take Rhaenyra into his hands, and really just he wanted to marry her, and Rhaenyra gave him a request. And I wonder honestly, if it wasn't for that distraction, right, if Daemon would actually try to do what she said, which was to go through all the Kingsmen, right, and then just take her to Dragonstone and marry her. That's insane to me. But of course we had the distraction because the guy tried to bribe Sir Christian, who really fucked up, but honestly is feeling guilty about what he did, and he smashes that guy's face. And I'm telling you, there's not a wedding in the Game of Thrones universe that will ever go well for anybody. It's wild. It's getting out of hand. But yeah, guys, I love the show. It's still pretty amazing to me. I love all the character development, and in episode 6 I know that there's been a time jump, and I'm excited to get to that, and I will as soon as possible and let you guys know how I felt about it. All right, guys, look, let me know what you thought of episode 5 of Game of Thrones. Was it your favorite episode? I really think it gets better and better with each continuous episode, although now episode 6 has come out, so maybe that one's your favorite. I don't know, but was episode 5 your favorite at that point? I've been Don Martino. Before I get going here, please help us out. Hit that like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, hit the bell for notifications. Also, please follow the Twitter and Instagram pages down there on the bottom right. Much appreciated, and I will talk to you guys later.